Hey guys, welcome to Two Guys and a Mouse, the show that gives you all the Disney news, tips, and tricks to get you the most out of your Disney vacation. I'm Lance, and we're here with Les and Katie McQueen, and we're going to go over some of the Disney news this week, as well as talk about the Festival of the Holidays. So, all of that is coming up next. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, this week we have a couple of things that we'd like to go over. Disney World sees the return of daytime parades with the Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time parade at Magic Kingdom. So the Mickey's Christmas Once Upon a Christmas Time parade made its return in November as part of the Disney Very Merriest After Hours celebration, which is a ticketed event at Magic Kingdom to replace the Very Merry Christmas Party. And from December 22nd, the parade takes place twice a day throughout the end of the year. The daytime parade is exactly identical to the one that is in the after hours event. The only difference is that there's no snowfall like the fake snow that they do during the event. So um, the parade times are at noon and 3:45 from 12:22 through the 29th, and then at noon and 3:30 on the 30th and 31st. In a sad bit of news, MCO removes the Magical Express signage in preparation for the removal of the Magical Express service and the addition of Mears Connect and the Sunshine Flyer. And Les is going to talk a little bit about the Sunshine Flyer right now.
Yeah, so we posted on Facebook and Instagram about this about a week and a half ago. And basically, the announcement was that Transportation Management Services, which is the company that'll be running this service, which is known as the Sunshine Flyer, it's basically a themed bus experience or motor coach experience. It's going to transport guests going to Walt Disney World properties from Orlando International Airport, or MCO, to the various resort properties. So it's very similar to what the Magical Express is. I haven't seen any mention of whether they're going to get your luggage for you. I think they're not, but if we find that out, we'll obviously report that later on. So the theming of the buses or the way that they're painted on the outside is actually very cool. And I did post a picture of that on our social media. So the theming of the buses is going to be like engines and coach cars from the steam engine era. So they look very cool. And the staff is going to be dressed up looking like rail conductors and engineers from about the 1920s. So that's also very neat. What they want to do is they want to provide like this whole old steam engine kind of experience to take you to the Disney resort. So the buses will have obviously a restroom. They're going to have some USB chargers. So in case you need to charge your phones and your mobile devices on the way to the resorts, you can do that. And then how you're going to be able to book that is you're going to go online to their site and you'll book a reservation ahead of your arrival. And basically, they're going to give you a QR code. So then when you show up at the Sunshine Flyer area in the airport, you're going to show them the QR code and they're going to scan you in and then point you in the right direction. So they're claiming that the wait time to get on the bus should be no more than 20 minutes. And then basically from the time that you depart MCO till you get to the resort is going to be within 65 minutes is what they're claiming on their website. So
that's pretty good considering it's like an hour drive from MCO to the resorts.
Yeah, it's and just like Magical Express, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going direct to the resort that you're staying at. They may actually go to other resorts on the way to your resort. So what they're saying is even with those stops in between, that within 65 minutes once you depart MCO, that you should be at your resort, which is not bad.
No, not at all.
If you need
it's bookable by your travel advisor.
Very cool. Good to know. If you need a refund, as long as you cancel before 72 hours out, you can get a refund. And then so now you're leaving, you're going back home, unfortunately. And so the day before checkout, what they've stated is that you'll receive an email from the company advising you your pickup time at your resort. And if you're flying domestically, it's usually about a 3 hour window before you depart. And if you're international, it's going to be about 4 hours out from your flight time. So service
Good.
begins on February 1st, 2022. You can start making reservations right now. Pricing, according to their website as of today, for a one-way trip for an adult is $17 per adult. A child, which is the ages of 3 to 8, is $12.50. And for children under 2, they are free as long as they can sit on the lap of an adult. Round trip, we're looking at $34 per adult, and a child, again, ages 3 to 8, is 25. So there is no cost savings there, which I found slightly weird, but it is what it is. The
Hmm.
prices don't seem too bad at all. And, but, there's always those Disney fans that were used to using and loving Magical Express, which was no additional charge, and now
Right.
you have to pay for a service that used to be free. Um, but it does seem to be cheaper than Mears Direct.
Yeah.
For reservations and more information, you can go right to sunshineflyer.com for pretty much everything else you may be looking for. So,
Gotcha. Now, has it been said or noted anywhere if, like, the Mir service does offer a private shuttle service in addition to the public shuttle service? Do you know if the Sunshine Flyer will offer anything similar, or is it strictly only going to be a like a charter bus type deal?
so obviously, we're not the only ones to report on this. All the other articles I read from other Disney bloggers, I did not see any indication that there was going to be a private coach option. And
Hmm.
perusing their website today, I did not see that either. But I can honestly admit that I didn't read every single fact that they had in their question section. So, but
Sure.
nothing that I've seen or heard indicates that they're going to have a private coach option. I think it's going to be like Magical Express, is my guess, where once the bus fills up or at a predetermined time, whoever's on the bus, then everyone just goes.
Gotcha. Okay.
I expect it'll be the
Yeah.
same. What I really like is, so now we have these two options that are very similarly priced. Sunshine Flyer is only
Hmm.
$2 more round trip than the Mears Connect that is taking over. So for like $2 extra, now you get a themed bus. So that's a little more fun if you really like that Disney bubble.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
I would imagine that the drivers for excuse me, Sunshine Flyer are going to be similar to the drivers that were doing the Magical Express, and those guys were so much fun.
They were.
They were really good with the kids, and if especially I would suspect if they're going to be dressed like conductors, then they're going to be fun. Versus, I, I can't say whether the Connect guys are going to be or not. I would think that they would be more like limo drivers, although I can say that private airport transfers to and from the airport that I've had in the past, booked by Katie, have been awesome, and the drivers have been wonderful. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. So, no, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably end up trying both at some point in the future, but it's good that we have multiple options. Now, the only thing that I want to see from come out of this is perhaps an option from Sanford, right? Because it is a little bit less expensive to fly from where we live into Sanford versus into MCO, only because we don't have any direct flights out of Allentown to MCO. But you never know what the future holds, so we'll see what happens, I guess. Right?
Yeah, and I'd be even willing to pay a little more than that, compared to what the cost would be from MCO to the resorts. Since, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Katie, Sanford Airport is even further away than MCO, if I'm not
It
mistaken,
is.
right?
Yeah, it is.
So,
So
I mean,
Sanford is kind of directly north of center of Orlando, and if Orlando is a clock, Disney's at about 7 o'clock, and the airport's at about 4.
yeah. So, I mean, as a guest who has the potential to fly in, I know I personally would be willing to pay more than what it would cost to travel from MCO to the resorts, just based on the fact that I could take that cheaper flight And, the airport, the regional airport that Lance and I are close to, I can be there in 20 minutes compared to flying out of Philadelphia, which takes an hour and 20 minutes, or, maybe slightly less, maybe slightly more, depends on traffic. So for the ability to have an easier trip to the airport and a cheaper option possibly on one of the low cost airlines, I'd be willing to pay a little bit more for the transportation. So we'll see. Maybe one day Lance will get his wish.
We'll see. One can only hope. So, in other news, the All Star Sports announces that they have a reopening date of spring of 2022. This is the final and last resort of the Walt Disney World resorts to open after the shutdown due to the pandemic in 2020. So, the All Star Sports will open on 3/31/2022. Any guest wishing to stay there are able to start booking 12/22, or were able to start booking 12/22 of 2021. And that's the news for this week. We'll keep you guys updated and post it on social media as more news arises. But on to the next topic, Festival of the Holidays. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get into it, I wanted to take a moment to thank everybody for joining us tonight. If you're not already a subscriber, please do consider subscribing and turning notifications on so that you know whenever we release new content. Also, if you do like the videos, please like and share it with your friend. It really helps out the channel. And I want to give Katie a little bit of time here to kind of go over what she does. She is my favorite and only travel advisor. And again, I've been with Katie for a long time, a couple of years now, and she does all my Disney trips. Prior to me becoming a DVC member, she did all of my Disney packages for my vacations, and even now as a DVC member, Katie still continues to do all of my travel planning. And so I'm going to give the floor to Katie, and she can tell you a little bit about, why you guys want a travel advisor and what she can do for you. So take it away, Katie.
So thank you so much for this time, Lance. I did some research for the most recent numbers, and the average traveler spends between 10 and 20 hours planning their vacation to someplace they already know. If it's a new location, then you have to double that. There's an average of 40 different searches on 8 different websites before booking anything. And the main problem with that is you don't know what you're missing if you're doing it yourself. Especially a new destination, you may not know what the entry requirements are for that country, or the visa requirements are for that country, or whether or not you can rent a car there without an international driver's license, those kinds of things. And especially for a new destination, there's just so many unknown things that I've spent a lot of time researching and myself already. So if you have the time to take a full week off of work and continue to do 8 hours of work a day planning your trip, cool. You don't need a travel advisor, or you should be one or the other. The best place to start looking for your travel advisor, if it's not me, and I'm not a fit for everybody, is travelsense.org. And I'll drop that in the chat later when I'm done talking with my hands. Travelsense.org is the search engine employed by the American Society of Travel Advisors. That's our national trade organization. And I want to look for an ASTA verified travel advisor. There's no barrier to entry to become a travel advisor. Anybody can hang their shingle out and say that they're a travel advisor. So ASTA has put together a training course that includes the legal, ethical, and regulatory requirements that we need to follow as travel advisors, travel advising best practices, basic geography. You have no idea how hard basic geography is for some people. So there's a really funny story about my best friend booking a hotel in Savannah to go to Columbia, South Carolina, that I'm not going to tell you because she'll get mad. But so that's essentially the function of a travel advisor. We handle all of the logistics of your trip, how you're going to get there, what you're going to do, where you're going to stay, where you're going to eat, all of that stuff. we read all of the terms and conditions for every single element of your trip. So if you need to know the cancellation terms for every element of your trip, or what your refund options are, or who to call if there's an emergency, you would have to sit down and read all of that fine print yourself. But travel advisors do that for you. They're your advocate in case something goes wrong. And no matter how well you plan, something can go wrong. So in the middle of your trip, you make a phone call to your travel advisor, and your travel advisor handles it while you continue on your way. It's your travel advisor's job to confirm all of your reservations before you show up and need them. We're hearing a lot of stories lately about people showing up to car rental counters and they have no cars left. Well, they didn't have a travel advisor who called and verified their car, or who has the industry relationships with, say, a representative at Enterprise that they can call and say, hey, my client's coming in and we have this car booked through you. Can we make sure that they get it? Absolutely, Katie, no problem. That's what travel advisors do. So they get paid two ways. And I think it's really important that travel advisors start to be upfront with how we get paid. Most travel advisors make commission on what they sell. Some also charge fees. There isn't a right or wrong. It's what's best fit for you. The travel advisors who work solely on commission don't get paid until you book your trip with them and then travel. So if you're asking for quotes and then taking those quotes and booking yourself, that travel advisor doesn't get paid for that. If you have to cancel last minute, your travel advisor will still work really hard for you to get your refund, but then she won't be paid for that. I remember sitting on hold for 7 hours when Disney announced they were going to close. Disney answered my phone call at 4:00 in the morning so that I could cancel all the commission I made on that trip.
Yikes.
Yeah, tell me about it. 2020 really did a number on our industry specifically, because we're so commission forward, and it's not commission like other commissionable industries where you get commission when you make the sale. We don't get commission until you go and then come back, and then sometimes not till a month later. So I am a travel advisor that charges a fee. I have a research and planning fee, and it varies based on, travel length and where you're going and how many people are going. But by charging a fee, now that travel advisor has a fiduciary relationship with you. So she doesn't have to think about what elements pay commission. She can book what's best for you. Airlines are a great example. Airlines don't pay commission at all. So if you have a travel advisor who's booking your air and not charging you a fee, treasure her, because she's not making any money on that. So that's basically what travel advisors do. Like I said, go to travelsense.org. I'll drop that in the chat, travelsense.org, to find yourself a travel advisor. If you don't want to reach out to me, if I'm not a fit for you, if you'd rather a no fee travel advisor, that's cool. I'm not for everybody. You need to find somebody that you mesh with and that will understand you and your needs.
Great.
Did you hear that story about the grandfather? This was out in California, who wanted to take his grandkids.
The grandfather who bought the tickets and showed up, and they were
site.
Like, "Sorry, can't help you."
No.
Showed up at the gate and they turned him away because they didn't have reservations.
Yep, that happens. That falls under the you don't know what you don't need to know. People book Disney all the time that don't necessarily know that they have to make park reservations. Right. Disneyland, when you buy tickets to Disneyland, requires you to make a park reservation when you buy the ticket. Disney World doesn't. So if you book a cruise on Royal Caribbean, you don't necessarily know that you have to have a proctored PCR test, whether you're vaccinated or not. But on the day that you, within 2 days of boarding that ship, unless you've read all the fine print, which is what I do.
Right. That's what you do. And also, I want to kind of add just a little bit that once you get a travel advisor that you mesh with really well, and she gets to know your family, like me and Katie, like every year we do our Disney trip, we have our planning meeting, we have our agenda meetings, She knows what we like, and she knows how we vacation, and it's nice knowing that I can set up a meeting with Katie, go through the list, and she knows, um, and answers my questions because it's if you look on our site, and I'll throw that up now. If you go to Katie's site, um and check out some of the quotes, I've literally said, and I can attest to this, I drive my family nuts with all the minutia and planning because I'm a planner. And Disney trips is not one of those things that you just want to go, hey, let's just go and like book a flight and just show up, because unless you've been there a number of times and kind of know the ropes, your average person deciding that they just want to show up at Disney is not going to have a good time.
Mhm.
It may be at one point in the 90s it was like that, not anymore. There's so many things to do, and you get buried in the minutia. And again, Katie kind of, she knows what we like, and she knows what we want, and she'll also kind of give us a couple of surprises and go, well, try this because this is cool and you haven't done it yet, and all that stuff. And it's great because sometimes you get stuck in a rut and you go, I like what I like, and I'm not going to try anything else, right? So that's why I've been on Pirates of the Caribbean 500 times. But Katie got me to go to Fantasyland, and I just never really went there. Like, not that I didn't like it, I just didn't have any interest. And she got me to go there, and now I go all over the place. But anyway, yeah, guys, check out Katie. Her site and link is going to be in the description. And what's up?
I have one client who, um, her name is Shannon, and she's fantastic, and she doesn't go anywhere without calling me first. If she gets an invitation to a wedding, she'll take a photo of the invitation and just send me that. And I know
Yeah,
that she likes hotels that are a little bougie, and she likes them in this price point. And she has Bonvoy status, Marriott status. So that's what I look for. And I send her the hotel. I put a hold on a room. I send her the hotel, and she just authorizes her card because we know each other that well. And that's the relationship that you want to develop with your travel advisor.
right, exactly. So, but guys, check her out. Again, her links are going to be in the description below. She's on Facebook, she's on Instagram, she has a website. If you don't know where you want to go and you want to check it out, she does have a quiz, which is, there's a link on her website. It's Where Do I Go Next. Take the quiz and it'll tell you where she can go. She doesn't just do Disney, guys. She's a full service travel advisor. So she'll send you to Europe, she'll send you to Africa if that's where you want to go. But definitely give her a shout and let her know that you saw her on us.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So moving on, Festival of the Holidays. I personally have never been to a Festival of the Holidays, but it is at Epcot, and it's running through November 26th through 12/30 of 2021. Um, and it includes a couple of things. One of them is the Candlelight Processional, where each night a celebrity narrator will tell the story of Christmas, recounting the biblical tale of a Savior born in Bethlehem. Woven into the production are stirring songs of hope and joy performed by the orchestra and a massed choir. And I believe those are invited from different parts of the country, if I'm not mistaken, from different places. They also set up some holiday kitchens around the World Showcase to showcase some of the holiday offerings from various countries around the world. And as Katie was showing you, they have a physical passport for the Festival of the Holidays. So, I mean, it sounds all wonderful. I mean, I've never been there, but Katie, what can you tell us about the Festival of the Holidays, and what can you recommend?
Well, so all of the festivals that Epcot does, they're all very similar in structure. So going through the
Okay.
year, you have the International Festival of the Arts that goes January, February, and then usually March through July you have the Flower and Garden Festival. And
Yep.
then usually August through November is Food and Wine, which you guys have already talked about. But then
Yep.
November and December, you have the Festival of the Holidays. And that is when Epcot turns into just a glittering, I mean, it's always glittering and beautiful, but it's so festive. I love it so much. And it's not just the Christian holidays that it celebrates. because there are holiday kitchens all through Epcot and all through different countries, you get so many different, the passport book here, it's reprinted every time there's a festival. So this one's a festival of the holidays, but it's not the same as last year's. And it shows you different merchandise that's available because Disney always has merch. But here's the whole program for your candlelight processional. So here's everything that's going to happen. All the songs are going to sing, everything that's going to happen, and where to go for what celebrity host you have. There are people that plan their trips based on what celebrity host they get for candlelight. In previous years, it was Neil Patrick Harris very often. He was the big headliner. He opted out this year because of the panini.
I think it's Pat Sajak this year, isn't it?
Pat Sajak is there. It's not just though. Pat Sajak is there this year. I can't think of the other people that are there this year. But Whoopi has been there before. It's the same script, the same songs, the same candlelight processional, but it just feels different with the different hosts.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, they live streamed one of Neil Patrick Harris's presentations. So I'm sure that if you want to see candlelight and you're not in the parks for this festival, which ends on Thursday anyway, then you'll be able to watch it. It's fantastic. But then after that, it goes, you have a full menu for each of the holiday kitchens. And it tells you where each one is, what the menu is, what might be gluten-free or vegan.
Gotcha. Now, is that sort of like the Food and Wine where they have little portions, or are they bigger portions, or how does that work?
No, it's the same. They're still tasting portions, so they're still the small portions.
Gotcha.
An important caveat, because remember I said it's the Festival of the Holidays and it celebrates all of the festive winter holidays. The L'Chaim Holiday Kitchen, which is full of wonderful Jewish food, like sufganiyot and latkes and a great pastrami on rye. This kitchen isn't kosher, and I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. So it's got Jewish food, but is not kosher. So don't assume that it is. Always ask for your kashrus, and your travel advisor will make sure you can maintain your kashrus in the parks. But the best part about the Festival of the Holidays, the best part is the cookie stroll.
Ooh, okay.
I know.
Yeah, what's that all about? Tell us about this. Go on.
At different kitchens, there are 5 holiday cookies this year. I think there were 5 last year too, but there are 5 special holiday cookies. There's a gingerbread, there's a Linzer cookie. The black and white cookie at the aforementioned not kosher L'Chaim Holiday Kitchen. Chocolate crinkle cookie made with Dove dark chocolate, and a Snickers doodle cookie made with Snickers. So it lists them, and it lists where they are. And when you get them, they stamp your passport.
Very cool.
Sorry, my camera's backwards. They stamp your passport, and when you eat all 5, you get the completer cookie. That's like your special prize for eating 5 cookies. You get a 6th cookie. And that one is a special 50th anniversary cookie at the port of entry, right when you come across from Future World. There's the 2 identical shops, and that's where you'll get your special completer cookie.
Very cool.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun.
For Food and Wine, you were chasing cheese down throughout the park. Now for Festival of Holidays, you're chasing cookies.
Yes, and at Food and Wine, and they always have a shtick to do. Like at Food and Wine, you look for Remy in each of the places with his different ingredients last year. At Festival of the Arts, which is mine and my partner's favorite festival, I have a painting of Kermit like right there next to my head. We love Disney art. They have figment paintings throughout the World Showcase to find. And that one's really fun because in Morocco, in Islamic countries, they can't have figural art. So all of their art is geometric. And so how do you make figment geometric? So they used his colors and made a really neat looking pattern with him. And that was the painting that you had to find for figment. So they really take into account the locations that each thing is going into, and theme it appropriately. It's great.
That's
I
cool.
love festivals.
So I
That's
looked up who the narrators were for, since it's only including today, 3 more days. So today it is Blair Underwood, and then tomorrow and Thursday, which is the last day, is Pat Sajak.
Yep, I
So if
might run
anybody's
over.
watching us or you see this in the next few days, go see Pat Sajak.
Yeah, I might run over there tomorrow night
That's pretty
because I
cool.
can do that.
If ever they have
Yeah, rub
Patrick
it in.
Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart doing it, I want to be there for that.
Yeah, I don't want to book you there for that because I imagine that everyone else will be trying to book that one too.
True. But man, that's a bucket list kind of thing. Like, wow, Sir Patrick Stewart doing the candlelight processional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you
I
can get dining packages with the candlelight processional. Um, I'm not sure off the top of my head which restaurants it involves, but it's
Okay.
similar to when you had the Phantasmic dining packages at Hollywood Studios. You paid ahead for your dinner reservation or your lunch reservation at whatever price point it was, and then you got preferred seating for candlelight. So they do have those this year.
Is that a separate aside from the dining plan or?
Well, there's no dining plan.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I mean,
When
like
there
when
was,
there
I think it
was.
was 2 credits. I think it was two
Okay.
credits for a table service. I don't remember, so I might be making that up. But you
Gotcha.
could use it with the dining plan. You didn't have to have the dining plan. Um,
Gotcha. Okay, so it
so
was a separate thing, almost like a dessert party kind of thing.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. And
Gotcha.
so you just even if your meal was at lunchtime, you just sit down and eat your meal, and then you would have a voucher for where to go and to hand them to go to the preferred seating, so that you don't have to queue like animals.
Oh, that's cool.
So let me ask you
Cool.
this, since Lance already brought it up. Have
Yeah.
you heard anything in regards to dining plan? Because I actually just had someone ask me about it in the last couple of days, and I said I hadn't heard anything new.
I have a client going into March that asked me this morning. No, Disney hasn't announced anything. I haven't even heard any rumblings from the unsavory blogs and news sites. So I haven't heard anything. The general consensus is that it will be back, but don't know what it's going to look like,
Hmm.
or if it'll be the same. Obviously, it will cost more. Everything always costs more when Disney brings it back. But we don't know if it's going to look the same, if it's going to have a different format.
Gotcha. Are all the dining facilities open, or are there still some that are shut down?
There are still some that are shut. Monsieur Paul isn't open yet.
Gotcha. So I suspect that they won't even do anything until they get to a point where A, they've got all of the restaurants available, right? And B, they're going to be able to because right now they're still at capacity. They still have a cap as to how many people they can seat in a restaurant, which is
Right.
fine. So I think that while Disney has officially said it will come back, I don't think it'll come back until they get to that point where they can comfortably accommodate everybody who wants a dining,
That's
because
exactly what I think
you
the
know
benchmark is going to be.
exactly, and they're not going to turn people away, and where do you draw the line? Do you say, well, I can't seat you because you have a dining plan, or I can't seat you and you're paying cash? Like, Disney's not going to make that call, so
Right.
they're not going to bring it back until they can comfortably,
Right.
accommodate everybody. So, which makes
Right.
sense.
We have a resort that's still closed, that you wouldn't be able to use the dining plan at. So and that one coming back in March. I found out today that the main cheerleading competition is in April. So total sense now why that's why that's coming back in March, because
Gotcha.
you need
Did
that for all
did you
those
find
cheerleaders.
out today because of my sister?
I might have, but I don't talk about my client.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so I mean, see, here's the funny thing. I thought I thought that they do all those competitions and conferences at like Coronado Springs, don't they?
The cheer competitions are actually, I think they're at ESPN and in the ESPN area.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not a conference; it's like actual competitions, and there's baseball that come down, and there's band folks and marching band competitions and all that stuff. So generally, travel advisors can't book those. Generally, they're booked through the organization that's organizing the competition.
Hmm.
It's booked directly through them, and the preference is the all stars because of their low price point and their
Gotcha.
proximity
Gotcha.
to Wide World of Sports.
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Conferences, yes, are at Coronado.
Gotcha.
Sorry, but yeah.
All good. So returning to the festival of the holidays and some of the other festivals, let's just take a minute to I want to get Katie's take on. I know Les's favorite is the food and wine. He's a food and wine kind of guy. I've only ever been to um I've only ever been to the Flower and Garden and did the drinking around the world during that. But I've also actually been, now that I think about it, I've been to the festival of the holidays. I just didn't
Realize.
realize it because we booked it. We were there actually
Mhm.
that the week it started, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. So I've been there. I have been to a festival of the holidays. I just never did the things. Um, but how would you rank? Let me ask you this: how would you rank? Because I'm sure you've done all the festivals. Rank your favorites from most favorite to least favorite,
Okay,
and
so
why? And
okay,
why?
so I actually have two rankings.
Okay.
My first ranking is solely gastronomical,
Okay.
and from worst to best, I would say, now worst is subjective because this is still Disney food and it's amazing. Um,
Okay.
but my least favorite for food is the Festival of the Arts, because the food is very artsy, and I like food. I mean, obviously, I like food. I'm Scottish. We're not fancy. If you put oatmeal in it, we'll eat it. Um, After that is Festival of the Holidays, because it is very winter specific food, like very holiday specific um, food, and so you kind of have to be in the mood for that.
Okay.
And then is Food and Wine, surprise runner up. Um,
Wow.
it's very good, and there's a lot of it. But I have a tendency to get accidentally drunk at Food and Wine because they give you those 1 ounce pours of wine, and they add up really fast. Um, but my favorite for food is absolutely Flower and Garden. They get so clever with sustainable sourcing and unique ingredients and edible
Okay.
flowers. There was one kitchen that everything was made out of honey, even the savory stuff.
Hmm.
So the innovation in the food at Flower and Garden, I think, is my favorite.
Wow.
Um, and then for overall atmosphere, I would say number 4 is Food and Wine. And that's because there is a lot of people there that are also accidentally drunk.
Yeah. Accidentally.
Now, for me, it is
Right?
accidental, but for Lance, it wasn't. I saw that video. Um, but there's a lot of grown-ups making poor choices to wade through at Food and Wine. If you go on a weekend, if you go on during the
Mhm.
weekday, it's a little better. Um, and just for the general atmosphere, I'm not a foodie. I mean, I like to eat, but I'm not like
Right.
into the foodness unless it's on the Great British Baking Show. I will watch that all day. Um, Number 3 again would be probably Festival of the Holidays. Because while I love the festive atmosphere, it is very Christian centric, and there are a lot of non Christians in the world and that visit Disney World. And there are actually 12 religious holidays celebrated in the month of December, and Christmas is only one of them. So um, it's unusual for Disney to be so pigeonholed that way. But so my heritage is not only Christian but also Jewish. So there's a little bit. It's nice. I like it. The food's good. Cookies. Um, but it's
And who
not my
doesn't like
favorite,
cookies?
right? So it's not my favorite for atmosphere. Flower and Garden is the runner up to the main spot because of the topiaries. The topiaries are so incredible. Every country has its own topiaries. There's a giant green troll in Norway. Who doesn't love trolls? And so that leaves Festival of the Arts for my favorite for atmosphere. It seems much. It's just prettier because there's so much art around, and there's art from so many styles. We prefer realist and neo-impressionist, but I mean, you can find. I had an art history minor. You can find comic book art. You can find graphic novel type art, cartoon art, all the way up to, you can't see my painting of Kermit, but it's by Kim Gurmole, and you can Google it, and it's a numbered edition. But it is a realist painting of Kermit. I mean, as real as Kermit can be, sitting on a log playing his banjo in the swamp. And it's just, I love the Festival of the Arts. I love to see all of the creativity and all of the art.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, wow, that's so much. And no, it's great. And again, just to drive home the point of, this is why people need a travel advisor. And Katie is very good at what she does. And again, I've been with Katie a number of years, and I'll tell you, I've gotten pretty good at this whole Disney thing because of Katie. When she first met me, I was a rookie, right? And now look at us. We have a Disney YouTube channel, and all that stuff. So, but again, guys, check out Katie. If you are into any of the festivals, she can totally uh, tell you which festival would suit your personalities, and some of your culinary, I guess, um what's the word, likes,
Yeah,
preferences,
tastes,
tastes.
preferences.
Yeah. And again, she doesn't know the answer, she's going to get it for you. But yeah, I just can't stress it enough that you really want to meet with a travel advisor. Again, if it's not Katie, you know find somebody. But you're gonna have the best time. And this is just one of my tips and tricks. You're gonna have the best time at Disney if you have somebody working with you to ensure that. And again, Katie does a fantastic job at doing that. She knows my family. She knows what we like. She knows what we don't like. Um, and so, but that is all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us. Katie, thank you so much for being on the show.
Always.
Again, guys,
Yep.
the
Thanks
links
for
are going
being
to
here,
be in the
Katie.
description. Yep. And also, if you guys wouldn't mind, in the comments below, let us know if you've been to any of the festivals and which ones your favorites are. And I will put Katie's contact information in the description. And let her know that you saw her on the channel, and she'd love to talk to you guys. But for now, we really appreciate it, and we will see you guys next time. Have a great evening, guys.